session, Plenary 5, is on understanding ease of doing business in India. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Vijay Goel, partner Singhania and Company. Mr. Goel will take us on a journey from challenges to opportunities of doing business in India. Over to you, Mr. Goel. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for Institute for inviting me. Thank you to Astik, very close friend, Kamal Agrawal ji from senior partner from our Delhi office, many good friends like Udyan Guha, very close friend, Pavni ji, and many more. Abhijit Mukhopadhyay I saw this morning. So this morning on my LinkedIn, I saw some I just every day try to search what was there. So I saw my name, and I think the institute has posted a flyer on that. And I saw my picture, and I could not recognize my picture. That picture is taken from passport where you're not supposed to smile. So, very funny. And then, so I'm, and the session was given to me for 25-30 minutes. I'm not sure I have that kind of capability to speak that long. So I'll be short. I would like to make it more interactive, more brief, so that everyone is engaged. Initially, my thought process was, most of the people are from India. So do I really need to tell them to challenges in doing business in India? And secondly, we are all professional. We are enablers. We are not the investor ourselves. Generally, you need not to teach or you need not to preach those who are already converted. So, but still, as my mandate is to tell, so I will certainly tell, first of all, about me and a little bit about my journey as well. So, like Singhania and Company is very large in India. It started in 1969. We have 10 offices and a few hundred lawyers. And then we also have education institute. We have a school, university, hospital, medical college, engineering college with close to 30,000 students in Rajasthan. So that's more on the philanthropy side. And we were the first Indian law firm to open office in London in 1990. So we thought to capture the client where they are. So we, at that time, we opened office in London as well as in New York. And we've been instrumental to bring very large 400-500 Fortune 500 companies to India, like Microsoft. So Mr. Singhania met Mr. The Bill Gates. Not Bill. Who was the founder? Bill Gates. Yeah, maybe close to 88. And then we convinced them, because at that time Indian economy was slowly opening up. So from 1990, the journey is to get most of the foreign company, and we used to tell them how to navigate India, and we continue to do that. So we took companies like Microsoft, General Motors, Hyundai, Samsung, and we used to help them to basically navigate the Indian market. Until now, we are doing that. Most of the big companies are already in India, but now some new breed is coming up. If you see yourself in last 20 years, the whole landscape has changed. Earlier, the company used to go for manufacturing. Now it's more technology. So the company, if I talk about UK, where I'm based from last 25 years, I'm in London. So I saw the whole landscape being changed. The company which are going to India now in renewable, who thought maybe 20 years ago any company in solar will go to India? In defense, there are many UK companies going to India in defense sector. Automotive, again, something new technology in automotive. They are navigating the Indian market. In education, the Indian government, I think they should have done it before, but they are doing it now. Like roughly 100,000 Indian students come to UK every year, and they spend billions. In UK, roughly 10 billion pound is spent by students. So Indian government should have opened this sector long ago. Like if Indian student, let's say 100,000 students come to UK, average student is spending 30, 40, 50,000 pound fees and accommodation. When their parent come, they further spend more money. So we could have saved that revenue to allowing them to open in India, which we are slowly doing it. So education is another sector where things are happening. in technology, in fintech, in edutech, in medtech, huge scope. And there are companies from UK and Europe, those who are going to India. I'm also founder of Indo-European Business Forum. We started in 2007. Till now, we have done more than 50 events in India and Europe. And we have people like Mr. GP Hinduja, Mr. Anil Agrawal of Vedanta, many SP Loya of Indorama, some of the really prominent people on our board. And we facilitate the business between UK and India both. I was also chairman for SOCHAM for a long time. And I'm also board member of a stock exchange called Afrinex, which is based in Mauritius, where most of the Indian company, UK and European company, that's a joint venture between government of Mauritius and government of India, where BSE is directly involved. So I'm involved into multiple charities, like being on the board of more than 20 organizations. I was also advisor to Nick Clegg when he was the Deputy Prime Minister of India, and I'm current advisor to Prime Minister of Malta on Indian side. And there are roughly 1.5 million Indian in this country, and they really play a bridge between UK and India. Roughly, there are more than 30 House of Lords. There are more than 10 Member of Parliament. And when I was also, they play a really important role, kind of making business between UK and India. For a time being, for a few years, I was also chairman for London Chamber Asian Business Association. At that point, we published a report on contribution of Indian companies in UK. So we found there are roughly close to 1,000 Indian companies in UK. They are one of the biggest employer. Like Tata is the biggest industrial employer in UK. They employ more than 100,000 people. Then altogether, the Indian companies in UK, they pay 400 million pound of tax. There are many which we became and settled in UK. We are not aware. If we count it together, that will be close to $1 billion. Most of the big hotels are owned by Indian families in UK. Like Hinduja Group, where I have very close association, they are the richest people of UK. They bought a house where they live in worth 500 million pound. They bought a building called Old War Office, which is next to 10 Downing Street. They spent 500 million to buy and spending 1 billion. That will be one of the historical building, hotel and residence. So Indians have created a mark in UK economy. And currently, and that's good that Prime Minister is of also Indian origin. So this is the best time under leadership of Modi ji and Rishi Sunak, we can do much better. But still, I think under FTA, we are facing a challenges. This has been keep on postponing. I had a private talk with the trade minister or the DTI minister in UK, Kemi, and she think because India now is in more powerful situation, so they are not budging. There are many points which has to be negotiated. They are into process of negotiation, but India, Piyush Goyal ji is holding up. So I think the both parties are very strong on the table. So it is taking time on FTA side as well. So if I ask a question around here, why we should do business with India? So everyone thinks their own answer, but I personally think that why we should do business with India today is a stable economy. Under leadership of Prime Minister Modi, no one can think things will go wrong. And at least I cannot think for next 20 years, this party is going anywhere. Generally, the trend is to open up more. From 1990, we started, we are opening slowly. We opened up FDI in insurance, in aviation, in multiple sectors. So this is going to happen, bound to happen. The second thing, the population. It is disadvantageous as well as advantageous. Advantageous is nowhere in the world you will get a number of people what you get in India. Now India will surpass China as well. So roughly, if you want to manufacture anything, where you get number of people. If you want to sell any product, where you get the number of people. If you want to provide any technology, you will not get number of people anywhere in the world. One of my friend in London, in last 3 years, he created a company called Redcliffe Lab. Redcliffe Lab from zero, he created this company, $750 million company, which is just diagnostic. What he did, he explored the market, found what is the gap, why the current companies are not doing well. So he identified. Currently, the diagnostic company company, their model was doctor will refer, doctor get commission, and then they move on. He removed that chain. He said, let me go directly from consumer to us, and he reduced the prices. He brought multiple advanced technology which was not present in India at all. He started even drone collections from the collection of blood even through drone, and he does cross selling, which means let's say you need for diabetic you need a simple test. This person will come to your home and he will offer you 10 more tests which is necessary for you. So and then the COVID helped him. So automatically in 3 years, today he had more than 100 lab. He has roughly 10,000 people working for him, and every fund around the world is ready to fund him. So that could not happen anywhere in the world. In London also, I cannot think any company growing such fast because we can't have number. We can only offer to 65 to 70 million people. So I think the one is the population. Number two is the population. And third thing, under Modi ji's leadership, although it's been happening from Congress time, but he expanded the making India digital. Now most of the things are digital. You go to the land registry, data are there. Earlier in hospital, if you go, your record was not kept properly. It was all manual. So now the data is available and you can utilize the data. One of my other friend, what he is doing, the patient data, he's selling to pharma companies. He create the data according to the need of pharma company and then sell it. He has already raised 200 million in last 1 year. So the digital economy will take India forward. Anything where you need, if it is a manual, it has to be digital. Otherwise, thing will not progress. And what this government did, mostly, they brought many regulation coming forward to make things simple. So that's another one. I would also like to highlight some of the other point which has been done by this government. One is PLI scheme, the production link incentive. That is making super attractive. Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means make in India. If you want to push any product or services in Indian market, particularly the product, if it is manufactured in India, one, you get a lot of incentive from the government. You have the central incentive as well as different state government at different state level. They offer different incentive. The situation has changed in India in last 20 years. Initially, if you go to any state government, it used to be thought they will ask money to get things done. Now states are competing themselves. If you want to set up a project in Maharashtra, the Andhra Pradesh government will say, no, you set up here, we'll offer you this much of incentive. Karnataka government will come, you come and set it up, we will offer incentive to you. So now states are competing with each other, which never happened in the history of India. This is the best situation because you get the best. You negotiate what you want. It is the kind of red carpet treatment for most of the thing. So PLI scheme recently, even for chip manufacturing, they offered. For defense, they offered. There are many schemes are keep coming and government is offering a lot of incentive to make things happen. Then removing number of duties, taxes, many things which is happening in India. Under the World Bank, doing business in India, India has already moved 14 places. But I think personally, I feel the World Bank, they are also not being aware or fed information on daily basis or regularly basis. Because India has removed so many restrictions. They have virtually repealed many kind of law, which to make things happen. Another scheme government doing PM Gati Shakti. That's another scheme created by Government of India. India Industrial Land Bank, the National Logistic Policy, the National Single Window System. So these are some of the initiative, the startup movement. Today in India, there are close to 100 unicorn. Apart from US and UK, you don't have that kind of ecosystem anywhere in the world. So, and this 100 unicorn could be 200 in next 5 years. So imagine 100 unicorn means every company is worth $1 billion. So at least these 100 unicorns themselves are worth $100 billion, and next hundreds are about to come. So, and the whole ecosystem around a startup is absolutely amazing. Number of my friends, those who started businesses in India and became unicorn and one are going to become unicorn super soon. So that's another thing going to happen in India. In the current budget, roughly 39,000 compliance has been reduced. 3,400 legal provision has been changed. So that's happening across India. Brief highlight of some of the very important initiative by the government. MCA 21, Ministry of Corporate Affairs 21 project is instrumental in incorporation process. It reduced the time frame. Earlier, if any foreign company want to incorporate a company in India, and we used to do it in 90, 2000, it used to take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Now it can be done digitally. So that is a really great moment. GST, like which has been brought, where every state government, they are unified. And this is also helping India on that side. Then you have the insolvency and bankruptcy code. There is a lot of changes in that. If you see recently in last 5 years, there were many corporate, they were not able to pay the loan. So earlier it used to take 10 year, 5 year to resolve it. But this government has brought, multiple regulations. So number of companies are immediately through NCLT route, the process has been resolved. Some of the company got the best kind of offer when SR has to sell their company, Bhushan Steel has to sell the company when Tata bought it. So there were number of company sold almost at a good value. There are many company which certainly are sold at a discount, but at least the resolution happened. At least those companies, employees not been sacked. The company are still creating a value creation. They are still, keeping the employee, keeping the revenue generation, keeping thing happening. So that is a very good moment. E-business portal, there are multiple e-business portal has been created where you can do business. I am also part of CAT, which is Association of Smaller Traders. They have 10 million small traders. So they are coming up with a portal where it will be like a marketplace for small businessmen. So they can do business with each other, provide business, products, services. E-code. There are multiple reform has been created regarding e-code where the lower level of situation can be sorted out. In arbitration, government is trying to make sure, particularly in the case of foreign companies, some of the foreign companies, they have fear. If you are into litigation in India, then you gone for 10, 20 years. That situation is not today. So today, I would prefer to first find out a right partner in India. If you want to do a business, take your time, speak to the people, go on the ground, find a right partner. That is the key to do business in India. The second thing is get your agreement properly drafted, have an arbitration clause so you are not dragged to the court for 5-10 years. You resolve your situation in a reasonable time. That's the second thing. E-procurement is happening. So because of the e-procurement, things are very transparent. And I'll give you example of solar. Who thought 20 years ago India will have ambitions to become a world leader in solar power? Today, because in solar, it is fully transparent. You have to bid. Anybody who's bidding, who has a good credibility, who is offering a lower rate, there are multiple tender keep coming at central level, from SECI, from state level, and anybody who bid accordingly, they get it. There is no corruption. I can certainly say there is no corruption in those tender processes in solar. And still the sector is super vibrant. And India is going to become a number one in solar power. This is you can say e-procurement that will follow into e-procurement. And that is happening across the board in every sector, like IT, which employs so many people in India and abroad. We have 30 million Indian living abroad. And most of them will be in IT sector, particularly on the job side, because this sector has opened up opportunity where there's hardly any interference of government. So it is automatically growing up. India used to be service thing. Now they are offering a product as well. Some of the big company, even Infosys, Wipro, Tata, HCL, they are coming on the product side. They are thinking advance in blockchain, in AI technology. So this is the proud moment for us. Land record. Now every state government is trying to digitalize the land record on top of it. We have Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Under this, again, government provide multiple incentive, finance to startup, finance to small businesses, and government supports them. That is the best thing happening now. power sector reform, I told you, like in solar, because of the power sector reform, the solar market has gone up. In thermal, as a law firm, we have acted on more than 50 power projects. In thermal, thing went wrong because initially there was some corruption in the coal auction. So then they had to repeal it, cancel the coal mine, and it affected. But still, thermal sector is good because India today cannot afford to just rely on solar. And we have to do thermal because it is cheap. But India has made a plan to reduce the emission. I think by 2030 and maximum by 2050, we are going to, kind of not ban on the project which are running, but not incentivize the new project which are coming up. That's a good moment. Then Shram Suvidha portal, that is for labor law, labor compliance. So the labor also get benefit. In India, there's a rule of minimum wages as well. So it is not that there's no system in place. So roughly under, there is a scheme, I'm just forgetting the name. Under, it used to be called Jawaharlal Nehru scheme, where every labor, if they want to work, they get 65 rupee or 100 rupee per day for doing the small work as well. The tax system, Indian tax system is keep evolving themselves. And the government has created multiple committee and they keep guiding them. And then we are trying to make sure, it happens smoothly, particularly in income tax. They came up with a faceless system. Earlier, they used to say there's a lot of corruption. Now income tax is virtually faceless. So you don't know who's handling your matter. So again, one of the best initiative of Government of India. Business friendly laws. There are multiple laws which are super business friendly. GST, direct tax code, the companies bill, lower operational cost. In India, still the cost of operation, cost of starting a new business is still cheap compared to other countries. So we should take a benefit to manufacture in India and export. Like even from UK point of view, if we somehow create a system that UK company manufacture in India and target the third world, other places, that could be the best scenario for us. The financial system, Indian system has evolved over last 20 years, being one of the best in the world. Because you see the stock market is fully buoyant, one of the biggest stock market in the world, very transparent, the multiple product. I won't say it is as evolved as UK, but there are multiple product derivative, the debt. If you start any big manufacturing in India or any kind of businesses and services, there are banks ready to support. Unlike in many other places where there is no debt available. India is a place, any company without offering a collateral in other country can get a project debt on its own. You are starting a solar power, you need to put 20 to 30% equity, 70% local bank will give. Start a manufacturing in India, you will get a local 70, 65 to 85% of local debt, which is the big, if you are creating your own project, which is the biggest boon or biggest benefit. Because if, let's say you do project in Africa, if there is no debt, you can't put the whole equity. There are multiple countries in Eastern Europe, it will be difficult, challenging to find the debt. If there is no debt, then automatically country cannot have multiple projects. So this is the best thing which government is keep coming. Like we represent IIFCL, Indian Infrastructure Finance Company Limited. This is under Ministry of Finance Affairs. Government has given them $5 billion in India in rupee, and then $5 billion from our forex reserve in London. This money goes for import of capital good in India. Every major power project, they import capital good. IFCL has a mandate to give them the cheapest loan, the longest tenure loan. In Indian bank, if you go, you get a loan at 7%, 7-year tenure. With IFCL, you can get 10-year door-to-door loan. You get in dollar term between 2 to 3%. So every power project in India got benefited from IFCL. Best scheme of Government of India. Every solar project, when they import capital good, got benefited from IFCL. Every port, those who are importing heavy equipment got benefited. Every metro rail project we worked on, most of them import equipment, and they have been supported by IFCL. IFCL, what they do, they don't give money to the promoter. They take like agreement with the promoter, but money goes to the supplier of capital good. whether it could be in China, it could be in Germany, it could be Spain or in UK, wherever possible. So this is another thing which government of India, there are many things which we are not aware because country is so big, reforms are so big. So we are not fully aware. Every state government is doing their own reform. They are creating very good system. Central government is doing at their own. And in some system, states are sometimes more powerful than center. They can decide, which way to go. And every state government is competing with each other. The trade network in India, you have an ecosystem. One of my client from US, Fisker, they are creating a electric car manufacturing company in India. They need not to go anywhere in the world outside India to import things. They only need to take their technology, whole ecosystem around EV, whole ecosystem around general automotive is there in India. It's only you have to identify where to keep the factory. And then you get a best labor, best technician, best engineer, the best vendor, those who are of international standard, they are there. So that's another good thing we have evolved. The another thing is a strong base of Indian English speaking population. That is a boon. If you go to a country where there is no common language, it's difficult. Within India, to communicate people from south to north, they speak in English. So English binds India together. English and Bollywood, I would say, and a cricket. So that way, the English speaking thing, majority of the Indian, even if you go to the villages, they speak English. And that has given India a lot of advantage, not only in India, even around the world. Because of English, we could excel in IT. Like Udiyan Saab is heading one of the big IT companies. So he knows, the whole nuance, how to get a benefit. Then work ethics. Generally, Indians are entrepreneurial. They are hardworking. Apart from doing the job, they want to do something on their own. Every person is industrious and they don't want to stick and want to be content on what they are doing. That is taking India forward. Today, I feel if there is any government or no government, India will progress. The reason is it is inbuilt in the people to work hard. It is inbuilt into them to move forward. And maybe because there was no social security system. So initially there was no social security. So everyone has to work hard. Everyone has to make sure today's evening at least he get a food or next day at least. And then we tend to save. Generally the saving rate in India percentage is very high. We save 20-30%. And sometime if you are from Gujarat, maybe 80%. So saving rate is again very high and we keep money, we accumulate money and then we keep invest wisely. So many things are coming up. That's another thing. Startup movement, as I said, the government has given impetus on startup movement that is helping India to move forward. Resolving insolvency, as I already touched on that subject, that has helped India to resolve the basic problematic companies and then move on. Enforcing contract, again, if thing goes wrong, you have multiple different level of court system, very transparent system. Then now under arbitration, thing can be sorted out quickly. That's another thing. Enforcing contract, you have trademark law, you have patent law. So all your international treaties are recognizable in India. Like even let's say a company, Indian company and UK company, they do agreement. If even under English law and thing went wrong, what you can do, you can take a degree in UK. Let's say you win in UK court, you go to India, India will recognize and then you execute that judgment in India. So India generally reciprocate on legal system with the rest of the world. They honor the like foreign part, and similarly the foreign companies, they honor the Indian part on the legal side. That's a very good thing to happen. Property, now earlier they used to be very difficult to find who owns the property. Now from 2005, India brought the FDI, they reformed the act onto bringing FDI. They initially brought the money for creating a township. there was a regulation how much you have to build, and you need to bring $5 million. From 2005, the real estate sector has grown absolutely, at a different level. So today in India, you can have the good quality, the multiple development going on, and sometime even the prices in some part of the Mumbai prices are as good as in London. So this is another sector booming very fast. Then recently, Government of India allowed foreign law firm to operate in India. That's another good thing which happened. So they are not allowed to participate in court system, but as a corporate law, they can practice in India. That's another good thing happening. Gift city. In recent time, the gift city concept has been super good for India. They have created foreign territory within India in Gujarat, which means earlier Indian fund need to, let's say, incorporate a foreign fund, feeder fund in Luxembourg, in UK, in America. Now, within Gift City, you incorporate a fund that will be treated as a foreign fund, and you can deal in India. You can establish any institution in the Gift City, you get a benefit of, let's say, you are doing overseas. So that's again been, and we have not taken a full advantage of Gift City yet, because every bank in India now got a branch in Gift City, and they are treated as a foreign branch. So I think the Gift City concept has to be told to people within India and outside India. Then within travel also, like India has to, they are doing it good, but a huge potential. Like today, the within India, if people start traveling from one place to other, south to north, north to south, there is a huge industry. The airline, if you can see in last 10, 20 years, how many airlines are came up? Which country is buying maximum plane in the world? India. Indigo, SpiceJet, multiple Indian company, homegrown company, they are buying maximum plane from Airbus, from Boeing, from engine lease. So where the growth is coming? Because of the population. So there are example in medical. If you see 20 years ago, how many good hospitals were in India? Only government hospital. Today, every major city, not only the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities have a good hospital. And Modi ji recently came up with another scheme which was linked with every person get a insurance worth 5 lakh rupee. If thing goes wrong, you go to the hospital. So the problem is we need to evolve the capacity, because the big hospital, they don't want to deal with up to only 5 lakh. So there will be in next 5 year hospital in every corner of India, which will be dealing only with that kind of patient. So certainly in this also the whole system has to evolve. In farming, there are number of incentives been provided. Number of Indian private companies are coming up to unify farmers. One of my relative, he is the CEO of a company called Innoterra, Swiss company. They have millions of farmer on their board. What they do, they bring farmer on their platform and directly tell them, give them technology, give them logistics, give them money, saying that we will buy your produce 20-30% more what is the market offering to you. So one, you offer, they are buying tomato, banana, apple from India, and whatever India needs, they export from overseas. Whatever India can export, they are buying it. So there are multiple, you can say, initiative coming up in farming, where the technology has been, provided, finance, logistic, everything. So these are the things which are happening in India in every sector. In defense, earlier we used to import a lot of items. Now there are 30 company in India. They are exporting worth $2 billion worth of defense. Who thought India will be a net exporter of defense? So that is happening. Every sector where India used to only import, now slowly they will be exporting. We maximum money we spend on oil. Now India is evolving towards solar. Number of my clients, they are into EV manufacturing in India. India will be number 1 electronic vehicle manufacturing facility in the world. At the moment, you produce as many, there is more order. So today, India cannot fulfill their own requirement. But in future, India will be the next exporter of EV. India today is already exporter of like normal transport, like bus, truck, and defense vehicle. Ashok Leyland, our client, they do huge business into this sector. But lately this bringing more EV will reduce the dependence on oil. So our import will reduce. Fertilizer, we spend a lot of money on fertilizer. Again, there are multiple incentive government is arranging. So you start manufacturing fertilizer in India. Then gold is, you can say, addiction kind of, we spend a lot of money on the gold, but that is not a money wasted. It is like, you are spending it as for saving purpose. I hope in future we can better utilize whatever trillions and dollars of gold we have in India. We issue a bond and utilize that money for the economy, which is not happening now. If we somehow come up with that system that the gold which people have it and can be utilized for the growth of the economy, that would be another incentive. So with that note, I will also like to, I'm not sure if anybody is interested to do business in UK. I would like to touch base on that, and then later on people can ask me. So UK is one of the biggest economy in the world, very transparent system, and creating business in UK is the most simplest. With a one director, one shareholder, online you can create a company. There is no headache. If the company is small, there is no need for audit. You can file the return on your own, or you simply have someone to help you, to guide you to file the return. So incorporation of company is the simplest in UK. Running the company is simplest in UK. You have whole ecosystem. There are roughly, as I said, close to 1,000 Indian companies already in UK. It could be more. India is, I think, the second largest investor in UK, and UK is, I think, third or fourth largest investor in India. Government of UK has multiple incentive to do business in UK. There are economic zones as well. If you set up in those zone, there are multiple incentive to do business. I'll give you some example of real estate is very mature market. We cannot compare the business profitability in India and in UK, because UK is a mature economy, thing doesn't go wrong. If you start a project, you are sure about certainty. Once your planning is there is a system, number of flat or houses or hospital or a hotel you want to build, then you appoint a accredited contractor. The finance is freely available without any personal guarantee. Most of the time you start business in UK, you don't need to give personal guarantee. Project strength itself is good. Bank will evaluate the project, and on that basis they give you the finance, and you have maximum finance available. Sometime if you do senior debt and mezzanine, you can go up to even 90%. So your capital requirement is very less, and then everything is in the certain atmosphere, very transparent atmosphere. So you can do business. Most of our Indian people, they are into real estate or something related to real estate. Some is into hotel, care home, or hospital, less hospital, like you can say residential building, those kind of thing you can do in UK. Then the startup system, that's again super good in UK. There are close to 140 unicorn in UK. Now UK is going to spend close to billion on AI. UK keep evolving themselves. They keep coming up with a new thing to attract the world. Today, why you like to live in London? You have one, the fresh air, which you cannot create. This is the benefit, and time zone. If you need to go to US, you will go via UK. If you want to go to Europe, UK got the best connectivity. That is the very strategic move to create the best connectivity. So, and then language. The English language helps to do business, India, UK. The code system, the best, super transparent, super efficient system. After living 23 years here, you take things granted. But if you go to some other country, then you know the importance of living in UK. You travel in tube without any dhakka mukki, you traveling smoothly. You can travel anywhere. In London, like within 45 minutes, half an hour, you can reach anywhere to anywhere. 24-hour transport, the best system. Then the intellectuals, any kind of business you want to do, if you need a technical people, you need a good quality people, where to go? You will find in London only. And another reason why those people are in London, because of our education system. You have best of the best school in UK for girls, for boys, for everything. So because people want to get their children educated the best, work environment, getting a work, everything is smooth. Then you have the sports. Where in the world you will find, if you are Wimbledon fan, tennis fan, Wimbledon. If you are fan of cricket, where you find the Lords. If you are fan of football, where you get so many football clubs. So again, it offers the quality of life in everything, in sports, in culture, in media, in every society. Why you live? You want to live with dignity. You want to live in peace. You want to live with. There are more than 100 billionaires. They live in UK. The reason is it's not that they all do business in UK. It's all they feel safe. They can walk. You will not even notice multiple billionaire walking on the road. In some, we also do morning walk, but then you won't notice. They are not for show off. They want to live quietly. They want to live. No one should, kind of bother them. So that is the environment which UK gives. So that's another thing. So I would say, live in UK, do your business wherever you want, have at least one leg, capital freely available, multiple new instruments to raise money. UK has the most developed financial market in the world. Trillions of dollars are with hedge fund, trillions of dollars with the fund. Even they are ready to deploy in the safe return 1%, 2%. That kind of money is available, not anywhere in the world. Cosmopolitan. You can speak hundreds of languages. If you land to Heathrow, you will feel India. You will not feel you are out of the place. Cuisine, the best cuisine, which you will not find anywhere in the world. You want to have Indian restaurant? There are 10,000 Indian restaurant in UK. You want to go to temple? There are 300 temples in UK. You want to go to Gurdwara, mosque, whatever religion, churches, wherever, whatever you want to do, it is available. For Middle East people, it's a heaven. In whole summer, they spend time in London. So I would say, so the quality of life, the cosmopolitan, the language, the availability of thing is there. So that's all from me. So anyone want to ask any question, let me know. And I'm not a technical person. My team does the work. So I can guide you on business point of view, how to become successful in India, how to become successful in UK. And we are there to help you. Your institute, Company Secretary Institute is there to help you. Some of the friends sitting here are there to help. We are all professional. We are all there to help you. And Jai Hind, Jai UK.
Jay,
No, they don't have that facility like Gift City.
Interstate competition both in Karnataka or Maharashtra.
Yeah.
Competition in years.
Yes, there is. Like say, if you want to set up in Wales, if you go to the Wales government, they can offer a separate incentive. If you go to Scotland, Scottish can offer separate incentive. So yes, there is a competition here as well. But everyone, those who come, because they have some relative, some connection to London, invariably they end up in London. And then quality of life or all those kind of things. Yeah.
So there is
Vijay.
some tax-free zones also in UK.
So there are tax incentive kinds of zone. There is no tax-free situation, but let's say the Wales government want to give some subsidy, those things are available.
Okay, they're subject to some conditions or certain list of
Correct.
incentives. Okay, thank you.
so yeah,
Yes. Ji Udayan sir.
Haji, so Vijay,
Yes.
I think thank you for articulating
Thank
both selling India and selling you London in an unbelievable way.
Thank you.
I think it's better than any politician, any Invest India guy, the way you have spoken. I think it is fantastic. But on a serious note, I know Vijay for a long time. And I think the interesting thing what Vijay brings to the table in his ecosystem and what he correctly said is you want to do anything large in India, sitting in London sometimes is much more easier than sitting in Delhi. Because this combination of the central government and the state government becomes so important. I think that's what I think Vijay and his ecosystem have been able to crack with his whole ecosystem sitting in London. And that is, I think, and as we said, I think we all sort of are not investors. We're advising people, we're advising companies. So make use of that. So I think a resource like Vijay, I'm talking batting for you, but I know him for many years.
Thank you.
You know, want to ask anything, anywhere, any sector, I'll go to him and he'll say, Udayan bhai, talk to this guy. So, but it's on a serious note, it helps. It works like that. So at the end of the day, it's what I call the network effect. And that network effect, London is the epicenter today, whether we like it or not. Whether you want to do something large in Chennai, you want to do something large in Bengal, even in a non-BJP state, you can sit in London and think about that. So Vijay, over to you. So thank you for that. And similarly in London, I think similarly here, if I want to go to any of the ministers I want to talk to, I'll talk to Vijay and his ecosystem, we can connect there.
Thank you.
So that was my point. Do you want to comment? I hope Vijay, you'll agree to that in our interaction that has happened over many years.
Thank you. And Udayanji, you are 100% true. If you are in London, you can conquer the world. Every African leader or where money has to be made, they come and invest in London. Wherever there is a turbulence in the world, where money comes, London. Safe return. Because where you want, once you made the money, you want money to be safe. You want protection. You want whatever I want, let me save that. Whether there is a return or zero return, you want a protection. London offers that. UK offers that. Which country will offer? You go to Middle East, tomorrow rule is changed. Go back to your country. Thank you very much. London is a democratic place. You see, recently the coronation happened. How many people really admired? Billions of people watched throughout the world because this place has importance. This place has a fairness. Whatever happened in past, it passed. But now after that, the country certainly is there for supporting. Like even in UK, the Suella Bremen, the Home Secretary, she came up with the the bill where they said the people who are coming from boat from France and various places, they should be sent to the different place. Archbishop of Canterbury is saying no, morally that is wrong. He's going to oppose in the House of Lords. Where will you find that? So that fairness, the genuinity, the politeness. If I was in US a few months ago. I don't want to say, but there was no politeness. Once I landed, I thought, like I've been multiple times, but if you analyze it, you don't want to be there where people are really direct. They are there always time. I don't want to say rude, but like there's no comparison. That politeness you will find in London. The culture you will find in London. The behavior, the emotion, that is, you cannot create it. They have perfected it. So the whole coronation, if you see, for many, many hours of program, it was the perfection. The biggest pageantry, the biggest show was presented by London. And we all admire, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay here only. Yes, sir.
Working as a partner of Singhania and Company in London for last 20 years.
Yes, sir.
It appears to be not a suitable place for you.
Yes.
You transferred to Indian government.
Yes.
As an investment advisor.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
I think I've got a comment actually.
Yes.
I wanted to stay here because I've never heard such an upbeat description of the UK. I was on the verge of Googling passport. After your first section, you made me keep my British one now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Anybody else? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Challenges of doing business in UK or India? So in India, if you truly ask me, the challenge is finding a right partner. Most of the time people get cheated because they don't do proper due diligence. They get into touch with some brokers and they choose the wrong partner. If you are on the wrong footing from the day one, then your business sooner or later is going to have problem. Second thing, you have to be a close eye of your business. You cannot think just hiring people in India and working as a remote. No, it doesn't work in India. You have to be constantly on them. You have to keep tight control of everything. Then you are super successful in India. These are the two things. And coming reverse to UK, in UK, you cannot do shortcut. The challenge is like when you come from India, you think chalta hai, that approach will not work in UK. You have to do everything per regulation, because if thing goes wrong, there is nobody to save you. Even if you are prime minister of this country, you will have tax scrutiny. You will have media after you. So in this country, if you want to do a business, do it with perfection. The cost will be high, but you make a proper budget. You hire a right kind of people and do everything properly. Sky is the limit. You cannot compare the return what you make in India, because India is still developing economy. Like today, if both countries need to work and get trillions of dollars of business in India, one thing is missing in foreign exchange rate, the hedging. Today, if UK person can lend money to India at 1%, but hedging cost is 5%. So imagine even more. So that nobody is addressing that. I met finance minister. I said to both country, I said we all need to find a solution to reduce this hedging cost. The moment hedging cost, like if you think from investor point of view, let's say he want to make 5% return. 5% you add up 5, 6, 7%, it becomes 12% to Indian, non-viable. And this money, who's making it? Brokers are making it. Who is making it? Nobody is targeting them. Somebody is eating cake continuously, and he will eat for next 100 years, and nobody is looking into it. So we have to devise a mechanism to address this issue. Once the issue is addressed, India will automatically receive money like no, because from investor point of view, he is ready to pump in money. He wants safety of the money. He wants return on the money. If you offer both, no one can stop. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.